press the yellow button to begin enjoying your Alan.
What is an Alan?
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
35192. Want to send a text. Here's a great band. They're called Across the Sun from Portland, Oregon. The kind of band you might hear on Saturday nights now. The new metal show with me and Corey Roddick and Pat Butler is called
2 hours until midnight.
Shut up, Bill.
Let them know.
Hashtag let them know. About 2 hours to midnight. 10 o'clock Saturday nights. We just did our second week. Very excited for week 3, which we are planning as we speak. So take requests, of course, take local band submissions. A thing that I've noticed today that I would caution local bands against doing is sending out an email blast saying, hey, everybody, blow up Alan Cox to play our song. Don't do that. I know that it's not an organic. I know it's not coincidental when I get 24 emails about one band and one song, and they go, hey, I just heard this band and this one song. I know what you're doing. Don't do that. If you are in a band, just send me a clean MP3. If you have an ISRC code, send me that too via email, and we'll go from there. That's the simplest way to do it. 2htm@WMMS.com would be the email there. Otherwise, requests and local bands and just stuff that Pat and Corey and I dig every Saturday night now, 2 hours to midnight, starts at 10 o'clock. We end every show with 2 minutes to midnight by Iron Maiden, just because I love that song. But for the people who've listened and have submitted their band or suggestions or things, thank you, because it's a lot of fun. Mary's back from Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. The seat of power in the Lone Star State.
Yes.
Did you run into Alex Jones and his bullhorn?
No, I didn't get to see Alex Jones. My mom picks me up from the airport today, and she's sweet because she's old. She's 65, right? And I get my stuff into the car, and she goes, did Joe Rogan show up?
Because you asked Joe Rogan to come to one of your shows.
Yes, as genuine as she could have. Like, she didn't understand who Joe Rogan was. And I was like, no, Mom, he's like a billionaire who has the most successful podcast in the world, and he just opened a comedy club. She goes, oh, so he didn't come do 5 minutes? I was like, no, Joe Rogan did not.
But it was nice that she was concerned about it.
Yeah. I mean, this is my first time in Austin, and that city is so cool.
Great town. I
really, really enjoyed myself. I did 2 shows for South by Southwest, which were really cool. One was a music stage, so I got to see some like up-and-coming artists who were awesome. There was this one band called The Heavy Heavy, and they were a British band, and they have like a 60s sound to them. And I was like, damn, like I was not expecting to like them as much as I did.
They're like a British White Stripes, aren't they? It's a dude and a girl, right?
No, there's like 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
The dude and the girl are like the main 2 people, so they're the ones that are the the face on all the posters and stuff like that. But they have a full band behind them. So that first day, that was Thursday, I was set to do a 15-minute set because I was put on this thing called the Live List by the National Independent Venues Association. So NIVA, which was created a couple years ago. NIVA.
Like the hand cream.
Yeah, NIVA. They put out
we are never, ever getting back together.
Together. They put out this thing
Britney
like...
Sung it.
They put out this thing that was like the top artists you have to see live in 2023. And I was on there. It was myself and like 15 other comics and then hundreds of bands. So they put together this showcase of people that were on that list. So they're like, come do a 15-minute set and then you can host the stage all day. And it was a very small stage at a place called The Parish in Austin, Texas.
At what time?
At 11 a.m.
Oh, God.
So when I went
Tell
on...
me it was outside. That's even
it was
better.
Inside. It
All
was
right.
inside. It was raining the whole day, though.
Uh-huh.
So it was inside at 11 a.m. There was like 8 people there.
It was brunch comedy.
Dude, and then it was like the people who from NIVA, but higher ups, like the production manager, the CEO, like all these people who are very important in this organization. So I did 15 minutes to 9 people. They liked it, which I was like, I mean, that's all I can really ask for. Nobody was laughing out loud because there was no one in the venue. And it's not seated, it's a music venue. So they're all just like standing in the back by the bar. And then it became very quickly apparent that my job of introducing bands was unnecessary because it's a small stage. So the bands are setting up and then they're just staying on the stage.
And playing.
And then they had me go up and be like, hey, the people that you've seen for the last 20 minutes setting up, they're going to play a song. All right.
Now they're really ready to play for you. They've been pretending they couldn't see you until now. They've been averting their eyes, but now they're going to look at you and perform for you.
It was so stupid. So I was supposed to be there from 11 to 7, and they cut me at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, they were like, just go enjoy your day. Like, you don't even have to be here for this anymore.
That's a long day, though.
Yeah, even 11 to 3 was a long day.
Yep.
You know, but the bands were really good, and I got to like walk because they cut me early. I got to go see some of
So
South
they
by
lured you
Southwest.
into that gig.
They did.
They saw you coming. They go, oh, here's this. She'll do this.
Well, they asked. They were like, "Are you?" I was
Did
like,
they pay you?
They did pay me, so it was
There
a
you go.
paid spot, and it put me in front of like the board, people on the board of directors, and these are all people who have independent venues across the country. So it very well
Yeah,
could
I don't think
lead.
they were bored. It was just 11 a.m. and they weren't.
Yeah,
ready
they
for
were
comedy.
tired, probably.
No, they were
and
bored. They looked pretty bored. They were like, "Just you gotta go. You gotta get out of here."
With the board of directors.
Standing, doing comedy to a crowd that's standing up
At
is
11
never
a.m..
good. Yeah, especially at 11 a.m.
And so I got to kind of walk around and do some South by Southwest stuff, which was awesome because the city is like, I've never been to a festival that
It's
big.
overrun with
It's
South by Southwest.
Overrun. There
Yeah.
are people. They have multiple blocks in a row completely blocked off, and it looks like the Cavs parade. There's just people everywhere, like in and out of bars, and it was very, very cool, but definitely overwhelming.
Gwen and I usually go to ACL, which is in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Austin City Limits, they do in October over the course of a couple of weekends, and then you just pick one because it's the same lineup pretty much.
Yeah.
South by Southwest is a whole different animal.
It's like 2 weeks or 10 days of this, and it was
nonstop hipsters.
Yes, well, not even that because it seemed like different days had different themes. Like on Sunday, every single venue I was walking by was playing rap music, and so I'm like, maybe this different days are focused on different types of music. I wasn't sure, but I did an episode of Doug Loves Movies, which is a podcast that's very popular. We recorded that, and then I was walking around beforehand downtown at that was at the Creek in the Cave, right? And there were street hustlers. Like I've never seen a street hustler in real life. This guy was standing there with
Don't they have them here?
I have never seen it in
Like
Cleveland.
outside of Browns game or something?
Maybe, but I've personally never seen it. So there's this guy standing with like a TV dinner tray, and then he was playing like the cup and ball game where he had 3 soda pop lids, like plastic soda pop lids, and underneath one of the soda pop lids was like a gum wrapper.
Oh, God.
Okay, so it's not, he didn't even have cups and balls.
He didn't even spring for the plastic pea.
No.
He wadded up a silver gum wrapper.
Yes.
Wow.
So he's doing the like, hey, come on over here, like calling people off the street, like barking at people. And I felt so bad for this one guy. This one guy walked up, and this is the day that all the rap music was going on. So it's like this heavyset white dude. He's got on like a bright pink shirt. He has a grill in. He has on a flat bill hat. He's got on Jordans. And he walks up. He gets roped in, right? So this guy is like, all right, man, first one's $100 or whatever. This dude pulled out a wad. I mean, like probably 5 inches thick of 20s. And I was like, what is this idiot doing? Like,
His hammer, probably.
Put your money away. Yeah. So they're going, and I stood there. I was like, I got to see this. I had like a slice of pizza, and I got nowhere to be. So I'm just walking around. And they're playing the cup, and he's like moving around. He's talking to him. But then there were like 5 other dudes around him.
Yeah, that's
That
the
were
people
all
that
barking.
work. Yeah.
Yes, they're all barking at the white guy, and these are all black dudes. They're all barking at him, and they're like, no, dude, it's not in that one. It's in this one. And I'm like, dude, they're trying to confuse him. Like, how does he not see what he just got roped into?
Yeah, they're the plants.
So, and then, well, here's how I knew they were the plants too. And this guy had to have been drunk or something. Or I don't know if he just had a ton of white guilt that he's like, I'm going to give these people
White
all my
guilt.
money. I don't know what it was because he kept shelling out money, like double or nothing. And then another guy, he'd be like, no, man, I can't do it. And then one of like the little barker helper guys would come in for $500 and pick the right one and then get his money back. So then the white guy would step back up and be like, oh, I can do it again. I watched this guy lose $2,000.
Wow.
Just standing on the street playing this game. And I was like,
That hurts me.
dude, and I'm a gambler. I was like, how can you not tell you're very clearly getting hustled? I was blown
This
away.
is the oldest hustle. Like this isn't
isn't even
anything
inventive
new.
hustle.
Yeah, this is just like
Well-
no one's ever played that game legitimately.
And that's why I was like, there's something that's keeping him here, which is why I said the white guilt thing. I'm like, does he feel bad that he's like wearing a grill and got on like Jordans.
Maybe
and,
he just had an extra $2,000.
I'm looking at the video. He wasn't wearing Jordans.
Oh, was he not? He had on some kind of sneakers. What were his
Yeah, he's
sneakers?
got sneakers, but not Jordans.
Sorry. Anyway.
How dare you besmirch Jordan wearers
My bad.
as suckers?
But I started to video it, and about $1,000 in, I pulled my phone out and I was watching it, and I was like, what I wanted to do, I wasn't going to post it online or anything. I wanted to show him and be like, dude.
Well, so what was the denouement on this? How did this end?
I walked away. He was still standing there.
You didn't see it through.
No, I didn't see it through. I felt too bad for this guy. Like, I felt so
No, you didn't see him
bad
win it all
for
back?
him. Yeah, right. Win it all back.
So
was
he
like,
didn't have any friends there with him.
No, he was just
Okay.
walking down the street. Like, I stopped, there was two street hustlers right in between a pizza place, right? So I stopped, got a slice. While I'm waiting for my slice, I see this all start to kind of unfold. They just stopped the dude, the heavyset white dude. They just stopped him. Hey, man, come here, just play this game real quick. And I watched him lose $2,000 before I had to go do the podcast recording. And I was like, man, I feel so bad for that guy.
There's something you learn in school called the sunken cost fallacy. Do you remember this?
No.
We remember this in, I don't know, what, psychology or something, where if once you have invested your time or your money or whatever in something, when you've gone so far, you can't bring yourself to bail out, even though bailing out would clearly be more beneficial to you.
Yeah.
You've gone, so I can imagine this guy, he's in for a couple $100, a couple hundred more, and he's like, well, I'm in for 400. I've got to keep going.
Yeah. Well,
Even though he
that's-
should have just pulled the chute.
I mean, a lot of gamblers will experience that. I've never heard the term for it before. But there's been times where I've been down $300 or $400 and I'm like, I have $100 left in the machine that I very well could take out, but I'm like, screw it, I might as well spend it
Right.
at this point.
There's your
Yeah.
sunken cost fallacy.
Right.
I've put this much money into this. I'm going to see it through. I can't pull out now.
Yeah.
I'm right on the cusp of a big win.
But I just...
People also call that raising children.
Bill Squire at the Funny Stop, March 31st and April 1st. No, that's not an April Fool's joke. April the 1st in Cuyahoga Falls.
You'd just be a fool to miss it.
Yeah, but this dude got...
So you walked away while he
I
was
had
still
to.
spending money.
I had to go. The podcast was going to start, so I
Oh,
had to
yeah,
go
yeah.
record this podcast, which was a ton of fun. And I met this... so Doug Love Movies is basically like a game show about movies.
How
would
old
be
is
the best
Doug Benson now?
He looked great. I mean,
Jesus,
the dude
but
smokes
how old?
so much weed. It
He's
keeps
been doing
him
that
young.
podcast for almost 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably your age, right? I don't know
He's
how
older
old
than
he
me.
is.
He's older than me.
I
Doug
don't know how old
Benson?
he is. He was
60 years old.
He was with it.
60. There you go.
He's 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
He
I'm saying.
didn't
He's-
look 60.
Dude's been
Oh,
around
he
forever.
is.
So I met a guy on his podcast who has this thing in Austin called the Master Pancake Theater.
Was that Chris?
John is
John,
his
okay.
name. John. I think
But you were
it's
on with
Earl.
Chris Tellez, right?
Chris Tellez, John Earl, myself, and Doug Benson were who are on Doug Loves
I've
Movies.
known about Chris for a long time.
He's very funny.
Great dude.
So that was Saturday during the day. We did Doug Loves Movies, and then Doug Benson texted me later that night. I had 2 shows at Cap City. We had a couple of people come out. The Cap City shows were sold out. It was an incredible weekend at Cap City.
Some
we had
bureau chiefs showed
we
up.
had some bureau chiefs. One specific dude named Mike. He was like an animator. It was really cool to sit and chat with him before the shows. But yeah, we had some bureau chiefs come out. But I got a text message Saturday night that from Doug Benson was like, "Hey, John, who you met today, runs this Master Pancake Theater where they go into an Alamo Draft House and they have people pitch them movies, and then you just watch the movie and riff on it." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds like kind of interesting."
Like a mystery science theater thing?
Like a mystery science
Yeah.
theater, yes, but it's called Master Pancake Theater. And I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do that. And
Are there pancakes?
there's no pancakes. I don't know what the
Oh.
pancake pun is, but I don't know enough about mystery science theater to have made the connection. But I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, oh, it's at a movie theater. And it was packed. There was like every single seat was completely full at this movie theater. I guess they have this huge cult following in Austin, Texas. And I went to their Facebook page. They have like 20,000 followers on Facebook. Like, it's like a big deal. And it was so much fun. We watched Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, boy.
And which I had never seen. So we're sitting there and we're just making fun of the movie for the first like hour, and then they break and do a sketch, and then you watch the rest of the movie, and then, you know, that's the end of it. But it was
Put the movie back on. They're doing a sketch. Put the movie back on.
And
But
stop
the movie,
talking.
But the movie sucks. Yes, put it back on.
Stop making fun of prime Nick Cage.
It was great. I had it might have been honestly the most fun show because it was still comedy related, but it wasn't stand up.
And
you
it's
know,
like low pressure.
low pressure, just
having fun,
hang
yeah.
out, watch a Nick Cage movie. It was.
I'm
was
sorry,
awesome.
a Robert Duvall movie.
Oh,
Thank you very
apologize.
much.
I
I'm
apologize.
sorry. An Angelina Jolie
A
movie.
Giovanni Ribisi movie. Thank you
A
very much.
Master P movie.
Uh-huh.
But it was super cool. So that was like my last show in Austin. I had a great run of shows. I watched this dude lose all of his money. I'm feeling great. I got a bunch of people following me on Facebook because of that Master Pancake. They're like, oh, you're so funny. I'm like, man, I'm killing it. I can't wait to come back to Austin. And then I did a college show last night.
Well, that was the picture you sent us.
We know how the
Where was
college
that?
shows go. Sumter, South Carolina.
Sumter. Oh, boy.
So I had to fly in from Austin to Columbia, rent a car, drive to Sumter. 300-seat theater, 4 people at the time it started. More people trickled in, but it was probably the worst set I've had in a very, very long time, especially coming after such a good week of shows in Austin. And the crowds were like young and with it, and all my references are landing, and people like were with me, and like it was just such a great week that I go to this college show and I forget how young 18 is. So at multiple points, I'm making jokes that always
That
land.
doesn't hold up in court, by the way.
Well, I know. That's I'm just saying. She looked
Maybe
old.
in Judge Poundcake's court that'll hold up.
but like,
twinks?
I'll allow it.
I'll allow
is
it.
that right? I'm bombing, okay? And so it got to the point where I abandoned my
So how
material.
do 4 people show up?
Well, 4 showed up at the beginning, and then it kind of trickled in. Over the course of the 45 minutes, we ended up with like 25.
But how did they know about it?
They were students of the guy who ran it. They had a class with him. So this guy
so
who's
he's like, hey, please come to this thing.
I think so. So
and
he's
4 of them. His class was probably 100 people.
No.
4 of them were like, okay.
There's only 1,500 students in the entire school.
Oh.
And it's a commuter
So
school.
his whole class probably
Yes.
showed up.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and it's a commuter school. So there's nobody living on campus in dorms. They would have to come back to campus for this show.
Oh my God. So they're not walking from their
No,
dorm. They're
no.
like coming back, parking
Yes.
because he promised them extra credit.
Probably, yes. So it started out with those 4, trickle in. We get to like 25 by the end of it. And at one point, I'm just talking to him because I'm like, I can't. We're talking about conspiracy theories. We're just throwing around conspiracy theories. And this one girl specifically will not stop talking. She's like answering every question. And I was like, are you like the class president or something? You're saying a lot. You know, you got a lot to say. And she goes, well, no one's laughing at you, so I thought I'd help. I couldn't
Jab
even,
and twist.
dude, I couldn't even say anything back because she was right. Like, she was the only person interacting with me. So I was like, you know what? Amen. Thanks for the help, I guess.
Good night, everybody.
Right. So
You gotta let him hear it in the back row.
I had this amazing run of shows in
So she
Austin.
did help.
She did, I guess.
Bookended
people
with some
laugh at that?
humility.
Bookended with people just absolutely humbling the hell out of me. And so I have this one joke
You know,
about.
kids, I just got back from South by Southwest, all right?
We don't know what that is.
We don't know.
Multiple times.
That's
we don't
how
know.
that's the direction I take to get off campus and go back home.
XXX tentacation is old to us.
Right. Well, dude, I made a joke about Jerry Springer and Maury, and it died, and I felt so old. They're like, we don't know who they are. And I was like, oh my God. And then it dawned on me, I was like, there's no daytime TV shows like that anymore.
No.
And they're like, kind of Dr. Phil, but that's really old.
That's
And I
going
was
away
like-
too.
I was like, man, I got to update my references. Because I'm used to playing comedy clubs where you have
Well, you don't
it's
have to update the
middle-aged
references
couples.
when it's for the colleges. You do.
That's what I mean.
But-
Yeah, you
like-
got to have like script B for
Yeah.
the colleges.
I'm going to have to write a whole new hour because none of it makes any
You just
sense.
have to write a college hour.
They wouldn't even
It's
know
gonna
what
suck.
Jersey Shore was.
Dude, and that's
But
what I
the thing is,
realized.
You got to update that every couple of years because you get older, they stay the same age.
all right, all right.
They
all
wouldn't
right.
understand that reference.
That's what I mean. There was that. And then, the other thing they didn't know was game tape. They didn't know what game tape was. And I was like, are there no athletes in the audience? And there were soccer players, but I guess
Kinda counts.
they don't watch game tape. So then I had to explain what game tape was. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in Nowheresville, South Carolina. There's no NFL teams. There's no nothing. These
Hey,
aren't.
you dudes in the back row bouncing a soccer ball off your knees repeatedly. Do you ever watch game tape?
It was
No?
so bad.
All right.
As
So
athletes.
bad.
Could one of you come up here and stomp my head with your cleats?
Please put me out of my misery.
That would be a fitting end to this performance.
And I'm in nowhere.
So
South
how
Carolina.
do you get off stage?
I was like, well,
Drop
here's
the
the
mic.
thing that's crazy is that I was like, nothing was hitting. Nothing that I was doing was hitting. And you have to be super, super clean for college shows. So I abandoned that And I just started swearing. And then they were on my side. And then I was like, you guys like dark jokes? And they're like, hell yeah. And then I did my dead dad jokes. And they were like, one guy yelled, you should have started with death. I swear to God. Because the dead dad stuff was hitting. They really liked the dark humor.
We live in Sumter, South Carolina. We can identify.
Death is the sweet release.
They were so on board with the dead dad stuff. And the guy who booked it afterward, he goes, yeah, they really seem to like that dark stuff. I guess I wouldn't have thought that. He's like a sweet older man. But yeah, so amazing shows in Texas. Got to experience the culture, watch a guy get run over for money, podcasts, live theater, and then just had my ass handed to me in Sumter.
The full array of experiences across these United States.
Got off the plane at 1:20, have all my luggage here in the corner, and here we are.
And here we are.
Wow, you made a great time.
I know. My mom picked me up and drove me straight here.
That's nice.
I'm going to take a break. I will have those, I think, Monsters tickets for you. Is that what I've got when I come back here? I've got, hold on, let me look so I can tell you. Oh, Cavs tickets. Cavs are going to play the Pacers on April the 2nd. So if you want to go see that, the Romo Fijo will hook you up coming back.
This is the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio.